Good afternoon to everyone. Today we all are present here online for the session organized by Institution Innovation Council of VUS Polytechnic on orientation session on national education policy with a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. Today we have the resource person with us who is our beloved principal Sri GB Dan Sethi sir. On the behalf of all students and staff members and myself, I wholeheartedly welcome today's resource person, Sri GB Dan Shetty sir, to this session. Welcome you, sir. I also welcome all the staff members of BVS Polytechnic and all the student participants to this online session. Now, let me give the brief introduction of today's resource person, Sri GB Dan Shetty sir. Sir, born on 1/6/1964, and sir has completed BE from Karnataka University, Dharwad in the automobile engineering. Completed MTech HRD from Madras University, Chennai, and pursuing PhD in knowledge management at Visvesvaraya Technology University, Belgaum. Today's resource person is having a very rich academic and administration experience. Sir worked as a lecturer, then head of the Department of Automobile Engineering, and is currently working as a principal of BVS Polytechnic. Sir is also also worked as the continuing education manager, then coordinator of Entrepreneurship Development Center, NCC officer, hostel warden, and managed maintenance work of vehicles of BV Sangha Bagalkot. Sir is a state level member for Curriculum Development Committee for the course of Diploma in Automobile Engineering in Karnataka State. Sir is a state level advisory committee member for NSS under Directorate of Technical Education, Bangalore. Sir is also chairman of Academic Committee of BVS Polytechnic, Bagalkot. Chairman Award Committee of BVS Polytechnic, Bagalkot. Coordinator BVS Community Polytechnic Scheme sponsored by MHRD New Delhi. Executive Committee member for Institution of Engineers Dharwad Local Center. Nodal Officer for North Karnataka for implementing community development through Polytechnic scheme under MHRD New Delhi, and also is working as a principal of Community College under MHRD New Delhi, as well as AICT nominee to MHRD New Delhi as a specialist of Community College scheme. Sir has achieved a number of things. To quote few of them, Sir is awarded with the Best Polytechnic Teacher of Karnataka State for the year 2004 from IST New Delhi. Received Indira Gandhi National Award from President of India for NSS Unit for the year 2015-16. Received a National Young Leader Program Award for the year 2015-16 for NSS Unit. Prepared strategic planning for institutional development. Conducted training need analysis for nearly 25 short-term skill-oriented courses through CE Center under Canada-India Institutional Cooperation Project. Sir also planned, designed and evaluated nearly 25 short-term training programs under CIICP, as well as planned, designed and evaluated instructional video programs at NITTR Chennai. Planned, designed and organized national level staff development program sponsored by AICT and IST New Delhi. Presented 12 papers at international and national level seminars. Worked as the resource person in national level staff development program sponsored by AICT and IST New Delhi. Worked as a resource person in the student personality development programs. Prepared laboratory manuals. Prepared human resource policies for technical institutions of VVA Sangha Bagalkot. Worked as a consultant for polytechnics to prepare and implement strategic planning for institutional development. Sir has also conducted SWOT and PNA for engineering colleges. Worked as a staff selection member of Horticulture University, Bagalkot. Worked as a consultative member for development of new higher education policy for the India 2015. Established the first community college in Karnataka state sponsored by AICTE, New Delhi, under Department of Technical Education, Bangalore. Attended further educational leadership development program sponsored by AICTE, New Delhi, under UK India Education and Research Initiative scheme. Sir visited Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand for presenting paper at international conferences. Visited Canada for educational exploratory study. Visited Indonesia for cultural study. Sir is also known with the skills like the strategic planning, the need analysis, the job analysis, curriculum development, institutional administration, and HR management. Sir is a membership of state, national, and international organizations. To name few of them, Sir is a life member of Institute of Engineers, Calcutta, life member for Indian Society for Technical Education, New Delhi, life member for Indian Society for Training and Development, New Delhi, member for Rotary Club of Bagalkot, as well as the life member for Kannada Sahitya Parishat, Bengaluru. So, with this brief introduction of today's resource person, Sri G.B. Dan Shetty, sir, now I request sir to deliver the session. Thank you, one and all.
Okay, thank you, Matu sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, good afternoon to all sir, and good afternoon to Matu sir and RM Patel sir.
Equal apply, sir, on name, sir. 030.
Right?
Zero mark. Yes, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon to Matu sir and RM Patel sir and all the staff members and students of my institute. So, today I have been assigned with one important session, that is the orientation session on National Education Policy 2020. We focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. So this session is very important session for the innovators and entrepreneurs. Here, I should focus more on the innovation and entrepreneurship and what facilities are available under the National Education Policy 2020. First of all, I would like to explain about the National Education Policy 2020. So here, the National Education Policy, already there was one policy which was developed during 1986. So after 34 years, a new national education policy has been drafted and got approved from the cabinet and the from government. So during 2019, and it will be implemented in 2020. And in between, after 1986 policy, there was a slight modification in the policy during 2000. Sorry, during 1992. There was some modification for the policy of 1986, and again there was some modification during 2009. So that was right for children for free and compulsory education. It was mandatory during 2009. But now, after 34 years, a beautiful and very effective and very excellent national education policy have been developed, and now it is being implemented. Here, first of all, let us come to know what is the education. why the policy is required for education. So the policy is a guideline for the implementation or running of a system or in the process, whatever. The policy means it is a legitimate concept and some guidelines and rules are being explained in that policy. So all the stakeholders who are taking the benefit of that policy should adhere to that policy, and the government should implement the policy as per the guideline. So that is why the policies are very much important for smooth operation of the processes or methods or any action. So that is why national education policy is a process or it may be action or it may be sometimes method. But to run that smoothly, we want some guidelines. The policy explains the guidelines and it directs the people who are using the policy. Here, uh, I would like to explain about the meaning of education. So the meaning of education, what we mean by education? So education is a very important and critical component of human beings. The people to have a good knowledge, they should be educated. And as per my knowledge, the education is nothing but it is a process or it is a method or it is an action which facilitates or which enables learning. If any process or method or system is enabling or facilitating learning of the people, then that is called as the education. And that system is called as the education system. So education will be happened in the classroom or it will be happened in outside the classroom. Wherever it may be, whatever it may be method, process or action or anything which facilitates or enables you or ourselves to learn something that is called the education. So to learn something we want some guidelines. How to learn, when to learn, why to learn. So we have to come to know that. So that is why the education is a process or method or action which enables or which facilitates learning. Then what is meant by learning? So the learning is nothing but it is relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of practice or experience. So if the learning has to be occurred systematically or effectively, there should be two important factors. One should be practice and experience. If you practice something and if you have an experience of something, you will learn something. Without practicing, without experiencing, you won't learn anything. That is why learning is nothing but is a relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of practice or experience. So after learning, there should be change in the behavior. It may be psychomotor learning, or it may be affective learning, or it may be uh, cognitive learning. So today, what will happen? The learning is being happened in three domains. So one is psychomotor domain. Sorry, one is cognitive domain. Second one is psychomotor domain. Third one is affective domain. So here, during psychomotor learning, psychomotor domain, we will learn about the knowledge. We will get the knowledge. And during psychomotor learning, or in the domain of psychomotor, we will learn the skills. And in the affective domain, we learn about the attitudes. So knowledge, skill, attitudes are very much important for learning. If we learn knowledge or if we get the knowledge or skill or attitude in anything, that is further learning. So that is why to learn, we need some practice or experience. So learning by practice, learning by experience is very much essential for learning. Then the learning happens. And after that, I would like to explain about the national education policy. So the national education policy is having one vision. You take any policy or you take any action of the government or any law of the government, or whatever, any projects or any practices. So any action, it is having one vision. So like that, the National Education Policy 2020 is also having a beautiful vision. So that vision explains the National Education Policy 2020 envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly for transforming our nation sustainably into equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. This is the vision. The vision of the national education policy is clear. So the vision means the national education policy envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly for transforming our nation sustainably into equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. Here in this vision, there are five important elements or components. The first one is our education system should be rooted in Indian ethos. Here, Indian ethos are very much important. The education policy should focus on Indian ethos, means that is Indian ethics or the characteristics of the people. Second one is it should contribute directly. The direct contribution should be there. The education should contribute directly for what? It should contribute directly for transforming our nation sustainably. It is important here. To transform the nation sustainably means without damaging anything which is existing at present. With the help of this, without closing, without demolishing, without losing anything, we have to convert our nation sustainably into equitable and vibrant knowledge society. Vibrant knowledge society means what? So proactive knowledge. So we have to act today only instead of acting tomorrow or after tomorrow. If you plan today, you have to act today. So like that, vibrant knowledge, that is called as a proactive knowledge. So to convert our nation sustainably into equitable and vibrant knowledge. So our society should be converted into equitable. So equitable to bring equality in all aspects of the society. Then vibrant knowledge society. How? By providing high quality education to all. Each and everybody in the India should get equal education and same quality education to all. He may be in rural area, he may be in metropolitan city, but each and every child should have a equal and equal quality, accessibility, affordability, quality, equity, everything should be maintained. So this should be happened before 2040. The deadline for this policy is by 2040, each and everybody in India should get equal education, equal quality education, and at the lowest cost. That is affordable, at the rate of affordable, and this should be happened within 2040. So it's a very challenging one. Giving a high quality education, not just quality education, high quality education. By doing all, the India should become a knowledge hub of the world, or superpower of the world, or skill hub of the world. So that is the main aim of National Education Policy 2020. By 2040, the India should become a world knowledge hub. So that is the main purpose or vision of the National Education Policy 2020. So this is the biggest challenge before education institutions and government. And here, my session is National Education Policy will focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. Look here, innovation and entrepreneurship, these two are the important elements of economy of the world. Economy, if the economy of the country has to be enhanced, or if the economy of the country has to be boosted, there should be innovation and there should be entrepreneurship. So here, you may get confusion, invention and innovation. So there is a difference between invention and innovation. So the invention means creating new things at the first time, which is not being existed at present. Totally creating new things. So that is called the invention. and making some modification on the existing things. That's called the innovation. So the adding value is an innovation. So invention is very much essential. Invention is a seed of development. Innovation is a tool of entrepreneurship. So innovation should be tool for entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship mainly depends upon the innovation. Here, innovation is nothing but creating new value or capturing value in new way. Suppose look here, I will give an example to you. The transportation system at present. So the transportation system was there since so many years. The vehicles are available for the people or the citizens to go here from here to there on rented bus and everything. So this transportation system now been innovated, have been converted by adopting Uber or Ola. Uber and Ola have come without any vehicle they are not purchasing. But thing is the concept is changed. With the help of IT, information technology, anybody can book any vehicle at any time from any place. So it was not there before. Vehicle was there, rent was there. The people are coming to your house after getting code and they will take you. And here, Uber and Ola, it is an innovation for the transportation. So like that, there's so many things. Look here, just like you are facing or you are experiencing the vaccination. Today, 2 years before, there was no vaccination for COVID-19. It was the biggest challenge. It was a very critical thing to the industry, to the world. But finding out or creating or searching the vaccine is a invention. They found the medicine is an invention and making some modification in that medicine which does not make any side effects. So making some things and making some demand, making some adding some values that is called innovation. So innovation is a tool of entrepreneur. Invention is a tool of development. Because invention will happen in R&D, innovation can be happen in organizations at anywhere. So teaching learning process. In teaching learning process, some teacher may use different methods to make an effective teaching. So that is a innovation. So that is why innovation is a mandatory. Innovation is an action or it may be process required to create new ideas, processes or products which when implemented leads to positive and effective change. So here innovation is an action or is a process required to create new ideas, processes, or products which, when implemented, lead to positive and effective change. There should be an effective and positive change immediate of implementation of that thing. If there is a demand for that, then there is for the innovation. And here, ideally, the innovation builds a new market. Innovation builds a new market. Look here, mobile. Before mobile, there was a telephone. Phone was there, communication was there. But after that, because of innovation, the mobile set have come. So here, this is the innovation over the telephone, over the communication. Like that, so many innovations have been happening in the world. Because of innovation, the civilization is being developed. So that is why innovation is a must. Without innovation, we cannot proceed further. We can do no problem. Invention gives a life to the people. But to celebrate the life, innovations are required. So there are a lot of examples for innovation. And an innovation is an idea that has been transformed into practical reality. So you will be having one idea. So to bring that idea into practical, you want to work. So that work process is called as a innovation practice. The innovation flows from invention. The innovation flows from invention. Once there is invention, to develop for the invention, to make some, to add some value to the invention, it will be called as a innovation. So that's why innovation flows from invention. So here in National Education Policy 2020, each and every steps is involved innovation and application. There is no specific topic for innovation and startup, innovation and entrepreneurship. Indirectly, the purpose of National Education Policy 2020 is to create a good number of entrepreneurs in India. So the creation of entrepreneurs mainly depends upon what? The creation of entrepreneurs mainly depends upon the availability of resources, facilities, basic amenities, and ideas. So here, the main purpose of this national education policy is to create a students with creativity, competitiveness, constructiveness, productiveness, effectiveness, and proactive personality. So if the person is very creative, he can become an entrepreneur. And if the person is competitive, he can become an entrepreneur. And if the person is very constructive, he can become an entrepreneur. If the person is productive, he will become an entrepreneur. If the person is effective, he will become an entrepreneur. If the person is positive and proactive, he will become an entrepreneur. So that is why to create a person with creativity and competitiveness and constructiveness and productiveness, effectiveness, and positive and proactive. So to do all those things, the policy has to work. And all the institutions should focus on this. So here, uh, to create more number of entrepreneurs in India, first of all, the entrepreneurship culture has to be developed in the institution. So look here, today in India, nearly only 5 to 10% people are entrepreneurs. Really. They are the basic entrepreneurs and they are entrepreneur by their family. But here we have to create a first generation entrepreneur. So for entrepreneur, creativity is very much essential. So that is why the system should create a creative personality. So that is why creativity is very much important. So each and every activity of institution or education system should focus on creativity of the students. So that is why here today India will have the highest population of young people in the world for the next decade. And our ability to provide high quality education opportunities to them will determine the future of our country. So here, in the world, we are having the highest younger generation today. To encash the demographic dividend of our India, we have to create we have to create a creative personality. So that's why creative personality entrepreneurs. We have to create a person with entrepreneurial qualities instead of labor qualities. We should not create labor. We should create a owner of the world. And that is the main focus of this session. Here, the Global Education Development Agenda reflected in Goal 4, that is called as a SDG 4. That is SDG 4 means Sustainable Development Goals of some countries. Sustainable Development Goals are there. Under that goal, the fourth goal is there is education development. They have focused education development there. As per that agenda for sustainable development, adopted India have adopted in 2015, that SDG, seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. But as per that goal, which we have adopted in 2015, we have to give by 2030 we have to ensure inclusive and equitable equal quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. It is a mandatory. It is a challenge for us by 2030 it should be happening. So again, the world is undergoing rapid changes today in the knowledge landscape with various dramatic scientific and technological advances such as the rise of big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and many unskilled jobs worldwide may be taken over by the machines. While the need for skilled workforce, particularly involving mathematics, computer science, and data science in conjunction with multidisciplinary abilities across the sciences or social sciences and humanities will be increasingly in greater demand. So here, with the climate change, increasing pollution, and depleting natural resources. There will be sizable shift in how we meet the world on energy, water, food, and generation needs. Again, resulting in need for new skilled labor, particularly in biology, chemistry, physics, agriculture, climate sector, climate science, and social sciences. So, multidisciplinary learning is very much essential. The National Education Policy mainly focuses on multidisciplinary education. We should not just learn only mechanical engineering. The mechanical engineering student should know also electrical sometimes, civil sometimes, automobile sometimes, computer sometimes, electronics sometimes. So each and every thing on this earth is a product of schooling engineering, not only one engineering, on the mechanical. So like that, the multidisciplinary education is very much essential for progress. And at the same time, here, uh, education must build character. So, as you know already, the National Education Policy envisions education system rooted in Indian ethics. That means education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, and caring, while at the same time prepare them for gainful, fulfilling employment. The education system, especially for higher education, higher education system should focus for two important things. One is em- employability and economic growth, personal employment, and there is economic growth of the country. These are the two important pillars of higher education. And here, the aim must be for India to have education system by 2040 that is second to none with equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners, regardless of social or economic background. So, this has to be performed or this has to be achieved by 2040. Then, the National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and aims to address the many growing development imperations of our country. This policy proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of the education structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspirational goals of 21st century education, including SDG 4, while building upon India's traditional and value system. Here, we should not forget the Indian traditions and values. So, without forgetting, without neglecting the Indian tradition system and values, we have to build an education policy. Education policy lays particularly emphasis on the development of the creative potential of each individual. We have to extract the creative potential of each individual from this education policy. And here, this policy is having some important principles. But especially, whole education system have been divided into five divisions, five parts. Whole education policy, National Education Policy 2020, have been divided into five parts. The first part, the first stage is foundational education. In the stage one, foundational education. Next one is preparatory education. Third one is middle education. Fourth one is secondary education. Fifth one is higher education. So these are the five levels of education system in national education policy. The foundational education is very much important. Today, what is going to happen is most of the children in rural area they won't get basic education, a basic good quality education. That's why they have launched one new concept that is ECCE, that is Early Child Care and Education. Early Child Care and Education. It comes under uh, foundational education. The foundational education is of 5 years. Immediately after birth of the child, up to 3 years, he will be with his mother and father in the house. And after 3 years, the child goes to the school. So here, after 3 years, up to 8 years, in the 5 years, up to second standard. First 3 years, there is Anganwadi, KG1, KG2. Here, this is the early child care education is very much important because here the more focus will be given on the creativity of the mind and the health of the child. So even the health of the child is being also maintained before birth. So with the mother. So that also being educated in future, the pregnant people, the pregnant women should be educated systematically because if it takes birth, the child should be healthy. Then the future of the India will be healthy. If the child is unhealthy, definitely the India will collapse economically. So that is why a important care has been taken in this policy. National education policy of taking very grassroots level importance for primary education rather than higher education. So for primary education, early child care education, ECCE, there immediate after 3 years, the child goes to the school. Here, the child should get an enjoyment, or it should like the school, and the creativity has to be opened there. And up to standard two, by the standard two, the child should be ready to learn further education. And after that, there is a 5 years, and next is 3 years. 3 years means that is third, fourth, fifth standard. So up to the age of 11, third, fourth, and fifth standard, up to the age of 11, this stage is called as a that is called as a it is a foundational, it is a preparatory stage. So you have to prepare the child for the further education for the to get good values. And after 11th year, 12, 3, 13, and 14. So that means ninth, 10th, and 11th. Sorry, it's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6th, 8, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Up to the age of 14 is the middle education. So in the middle education, you have to teach them good values. And after middle education, there is for 4 years, there is ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So this is called the secondary education. The secondary education includes ninth standard, 10th standard, 11th standard, and 12th standard. Here, in this policy, the skill development education commences from ninth onwards. When the student get past 8th standard, if he enter into ninth standard, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, within this whole year, he should learn some skill development education, some skill. He should learn some skills. So that's why skill development education has to be provided in these 4 years. And after that, the higher education. Higher education doesn't have any limit. So it's a as per the requirement. So that's why higher education also should adopt skill development. So that's called as a vocationalization of higher education. The vocationalization of higher education is very important element of national education policy 2020. So that is why the skill development education starts from ninth standard and it will be continued until its lifelong learning. So, if the people get skill development education systematically, they can become a very good skilled manpower to produce something, and there will be a lot of employment opportunities. And even though they can become a great entrepreneurs. So that is why here the entrepreneurship education starts from ninth standard. So after 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and again for higher education, they will adapt. And look here, I have told you the preparatory, that is the foundational education has given very much importance because as per the research, 85% of the child's brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. Before the age of 6, the 85% of the brain child will be developed. 85% of the brain will be developed before 6 years. And after 6 years, only 15% of the brain will be developed. So that is why very important care has to be taken before the age of 6. So whatever you do to the information or action or anything to the child before 6, that will be perfect. So 85% of the child brain will be developed during that. So that's why within 6 years we have to give a very good, excellent education, excellent information, excellent values to the children. There is a research already done for the world. 85% of the children's brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. So then, in order to ensure healthy brain development and growth, critical importance of appropriate care and stimulation of brain in early years has to be given. The stimulation of brain and appropriate care, critical importance has to be given to the children before 6. And presently, quality ECC, that is early child care and education, is not available to crores of and children, particularly children from socially, economically disadvantaged. In rural area, especially within 6 years, the child will not get good education. Because of that, only today the India is suffering from malnutrition. As per the research, 85% of child's brain development occurs prior to 6 years. So within these 6 years, if good education is given, good stimulation of the brain is given, critical importance of appropriate care and stimulation of brain in early age, if given, definitely you will get a good man for it. That is why this National Education Policy 2020 is focusing more on ECCE, early child care education, because more importance has been given for the children before 6 years. And uh, quality ECC, early care child education, must achieve as soon as possible and no later than 2030. Very important. By 2030, each and every child in India, which is having before age limit of 6 to below 6, should get must achieve but quality ECC means quality early child care education. And if it has not been happened, definitely the cost will be heavy. Each and every child in India by 2030 should get a quality early child care education. Otherwise, it will be difficult for the India to launch the policy. Because by 2040, we have to become a knowledge hub of the world. And various governmental and non-governmental survey indicates that we are currently in a learning crisis. Today in India, as per research, various government or non-government organizations have made some research that indicated that currently we are in a learning crisis because learning is not being happened systematically or effectively in India. Only some institutions are giving a good teaching learning process and there is good learning. But remaining the institutions, the learning process is very big. More than 5 crore students in India at present are not able to read and write and basic addition and subtraction. There is a problem. More than 5 crore students in India right now, as per research information, they are not able to read and write and basic addition and subtraction. What will the fate of India today after that? How to convert this 5 crore people into valuable or some productive or some uh, that is called as a creative manpower, competitive manpower. This is already before education system. So like that, the policy is having a lot of challenges. And here, the polytechnics. Today, there are so many challenges for polytechnics in implementation of education. The biggest challenge for polytechnic today to implement National Education Policy 2020 is development of need-based and demand-driven curriculum to fulfill the vision of NEP 2020. So as you know already, NEP 2020 needed equitable and vibrant knowledge society. We have to transform our nation sustainably into equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. So for polytechnic, development of need-based and demand-driven curriculum to fulfill the vision is very much challenging because we are not expecting, we are not forecasting, we are not judging the future requirement of the job, future job requirements. So it needs a lot of research, and this is a challenge before polytechnic education. And after that, updating the knowledge and skills of polytechnic teachers to have pace with NEP 2020. Even right now, the polytechnic teachers are having a limited knowledge about the subject or about the policy and about the future technology for India, future technology for the world. So, to update that knowledge and skills of political teachers to have a pace with the NEP 2020 is also challenge before us. This is second challenge. And third challenge is optimization of all resources of institution as per NEP 2020 guidelines. So to implement NEP 2020, we does not want any extra resources. Lot of human resource, lot of physical resources available in India. So to mobilize and channelize that resources systematically in a systematic way is very much important. So that is why optimization of all resources of institution as per NEP 2020 guidelines is a challenge before us. And fourth challenge is developing strategies of polytechnic intervention in the process of vocationalization of higher education. Look here, the vocationalization of higher education is very much essential because the national education policy mainly focuses on vocationalization of higher education. If the higher education is vocational education, then you will get the skilled manpower and who will become a good labor or good worker or good entrepreneur for the future. But here the polytechnic is also having a responsibility, that is to develop a strategies for political intervention in the process of professionalized higher education. So right now, recently the AICT has announced the one scheme, that is Karma. So the Karma is, that is Kaushal augmentation and restructuring of AICT. So this Karma is actually Kaushal augmentation means the skill development and restructuring vision of AICT. AICT is having restructuring its vision to develop a skill development man, to develop a skill manpower. So here the AICT knows already the skill India vision. The skill India vision is there already. So what the skill India vision explains to us? The skill India vision explains to us. Actually, the vision is to rapidly scale up skill development efforts in India by creating end-to-end outcome-focused implementation framework, which aligns the demands of the employer for highly skilled manpower with aspirations of Indian citizens for sustainable ability. So this is the skill area machine which is actually being practiced by NSDC and all NSDA. So this has to be implemented very systematically through Karma scheme. That is Kaushalya, augmentation and restructuring vision of AICT. Under this scheme, we have to vocationize the higher education. We have to give vocational education to the dropouts or the students who are studying in the college and the students who are studying outside the college. So we have to focus all these three sectors: who are dropouts, who are studying in the college, and who are out of the college in other college. So to train them, the karma is there. So that is why there is a challenge before us. And the fifth challenge is, that is complete understanding and implementation of OBT. Outcome-based education is being implemented already throughout India. So the outcome-based education is very much important, or it is a launching pad for NEP 2020. So complete understanding and implementation of OB from each and every faculty members in the college before us. And the sixth one is designing mechanism or method of TLP, teaching learning process, for techno entrepreneurship development. So here we have to develop a techno entrepreneur. Today the main session is, there is focusing orientation session of national education policy, focusing on
Innovation.
is focusing on innovation and entrepreneurship. So the entrepreneurship means techno entrepreneurs. Already the students are having qualification of diploma in engineering. They should become an entrepreneur rather than employee. Employee. They should be becoming employee. So that is designing a mechanism or method of TLP, teaching learning process, for techno entrepreneurship development. To develop techno entrepreneurship, it needs a lot of effort or experience learning is required, practice-based learning is required, project-based learning is required. To design that mechanism is the biggest challenge before us. And seventh challenge before Polytechnic is designing micro-formative evaluation system to test the competencies of students in practicals. Today the practicals is being tested. The practical examinations are going on. Because of some lacunas in practical exam, the students are not having a high skill because they are exempted somewhere somewhat for some reason. So that is why designing micro formative evaluation system to test the competencies of students in practicals. So that is the biggest challenge before polytechnic education to cope up with National Education Policy 2020. And the eighth one is adoption of local language, that is Kannada in curriculum and teaching learning. The National Education Policy it actually it supports the local language. That is in Karnataka, Kannada is local language. Adoption of local language in curriculum and teaching learning process is a challenge before polytechnic education in India. And extensive use of technology in field. Today, if you use very good technology for teaching learning process, you can produce high quality manpower. So some people or some faculty members are not able to use teaching learning process or not able to use technology in DLT. So there is why extensive use of technology in teaching learning process is the biggest challenge. And the tenth challenge for polytechnic education under NEP is developing industry institute interaction strategies. So the national education policy focuses more on industry institute interaction to get highly skilled manpower. So to get a highly skilled manpower and entrepreneur, we need a strong industry interaction mechanism. So for the polytechnic, there is the biggest challenge. That is development of industry interaction strategies. So these are the 10 important biggest challenges for polytechnic in implementation of NEP 2020. And after that, uh, I want to focus something on research and innovation. How the policy is supporting the research and innovation for the institutions. So, catalyzing quality academic research, the formation of NRF is there. That is National Research Foundation have been formed under the National Education Policy 2020. NRF, NRF is a National Research Foundation have been established. So, this is catalyzing the quality academic research. To catalyze the quality academic research, the NRF have been arised, have been established for better civilization and sustainable economy research is. So research is very much essential for a better civilization and sustainable economy. Today, the economy is fluctuating like anything, and the civilization is developing very rapidly because of research. So that is why research should be there to have better civilization and sustainable economy. So that is why this NRF have been established. Research in science, technology, sociology, then management, economics, and environmental science, etc., has to be strengthened very fast for future development of India. And research and innovation investment in India. So research and innovation will not happen immediately. It needs some investment from the government or from the institution. If you compare the investment of budget on research and innovation in India is only 0.16, 0.69%, 0.69 and 0.7% of total budget for research and innovation. For research and innovation, the India is contributing only 0.7% of its budget as GDP, as compared to US. US is contributing 2.8% of its budget for research and innovation, and 4.3% in Israel, and 4.2% in South Korea. South Korea is contributing, South Korea is investing 4.2% of its total budget for research and innovation, and 4.3% is being contributed by Israel, and 2.8% is being contributed by US in this country. But India, even 1% is not being contributed. Only 0.7% is being contributed for research and innovation. So that's why the investment in research and innovation has to be enhanced. Then only you get a innovation and research culture in the academic activities. Then here we are doing small research through UBA. Look here, the new scheme have been launched by central government, that is Unnata Bharat Abhiyana. Under this Unnata Bharat Abhiyana, there are two important areas, that is human resource development and country development. That is economic development and human resource development. So under human resource development, the Unnata Bharat Abhiyana is focusing on health, education, values, skills, skills and enterprise. So here these are the four important areas for human resource development under UPA. UPA is doing small researches in rural area to students. Research on health, research on education, research on values, research on skills and enterprise. So the students are going to the village and they are making some analysis and getting some data. They are doing some small research and they are designing small mechanisms to improve that. So this is going on under UBA. And under economic development, the under Unnata Bharat Abhiyana, the students are focusing more on organic agriculture and again they are focusing on water management and conservation and renewable energy resources, and again artisans and local industries, and again development of local natural resources and enhancing and caching, and again they're focusing on basic remedies, and they're focusing on that is bee support. So these are seven areas they are focusing for economic development of the rural area. So this is a very good scheme under Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Education. UPA, if all institutions adopted UPA very systematically, we can fulfill the requirement of National Education Policy 2020 very systematically. And India needs high quality interdisciplinary research to solve the societal problems. India is having a lot of problems, societal problems, to enhance the economy of the country, to enhance the economy of the country, our in India mainly depends on three important areas or three important sectors. The first one is agriculture sector, second one is industry sector, third one is service sector. So these three sectors are contributing for economic development of the nation. Agriculture sector is contributing only 18% of total economy of the country, and 52% is being contributed by service sector, and remaining 38% is being contributed by industry. So here that is 32%. 32% of total economy is being contributed by industries, and 18% is being contributed by agriculture, and 52% is being contributed by that is service sector.
Service.
So the service sector is contributing more for the economic development, and only 18% is being contributed by agriculture sector. But in India, 68% people are staying in village. They are depends upon agriculture. So 68% of people contributing only 18% of economy. So that is why Unnata Bharat Haryana is a very good concept to boost the economy of rural people, to convert them to be an entrepreneur. So that is why Unnata Bharat Haryana has to be taken very seriously and systematically to succeed in national education policy for people. Service sector is there already. 52% is being contributed from that, and 32% is being contributed from that is the industry. So again, Evidence from world's best university throughout history shows that this teaching learning process at higher education level occurs in environment where there is also strong culture of research and knowledge creation culture. So, it's about research have been already done. There's evidence for this. World's best universities throughout history shows that best TLP at higher education level occurs in environment where there is also strong culture of research and knowledge creation. The institution is having a research and knowledge creation culture. There will be very high quality teaching learning process will be there. This is research findings. If you want to have high quality teaching learning process, there should be research and creativity culture in the institution. So to have high quality level, high quality teaching learning process in the institution, we should have a good environment of research and good environment of knowledge creation. And very best research in the world has occurred in multidisciplinary university settings. So you are having technical university, medical university, management university, skill university. These universities are not giving best research. But as per the findings of research in the world, very best research in the world has occurred in multidisciplinary university settings. So that is why the multidisciplinary universities are being set up today because the best research are being coming from that. Research, innovation, and entrepreneurship will be mandatory in UG programs to develop research mindset. So that is why the research, innovation, and entrepreneurship internship internship should be mandatory. So that is why under national education policy, innovation and the internship have become a mandatory for all the students in future to have a research mindset. If there is a research mindset, we will get a very good innovation. That's why innovation and entrepreneurship are the two important things for the country's economic development. And again, with this, I will conclude. Thing is, innovation is a inevitable, is a mandatory, and entrepreneurship is also inevitable, is a mandatory. Innovation and entrepreneurship are very much essential for country development or country economic development and for survival of the country. And here, the government cannot create more jobs, but the job creators mainly depends on the entrepreneurs. If more number of entrepreneurs are created in India, more number of jobs will be created, and then only there will be equitable distribution of economy to the people. And if there are no entrepreneurs, no job creation, and the education will be a state. And if the education has to be fulfilled and used properly, there should be more number of entrepreneurs. The entrepreneur means there should be more number of innovators in India. So that is why whole education system should focus more on innovation and entrepreneurship. And I advise all the students try to become a great innovator and try to become a great entrepreneur and try to become a owner of the company instead of becoming a labor of the company. So that is why I wish you best. You should become a great entrepreneur of the future of the world, and the India should become a knowledge hub and skill hub of the world. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir has actually given very, uh, I mean, very informative and uh, has given insights of the national education policy with respect to the innovation and entrepreneurship. Now I request the Institution Innovation Council of VVS Polytechnic uh, convener Sri R.M. Patel sir to give the vote of thanks.
So, good afternoon, my dear student friends. So, at the end of this program, I am here to express vote of thanks. So, I would like to utilize this opportunity to pass on one information to you. So, before expressing the vote of thanks, so just 2 days back, you might be heard that Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, has announced 16th January will be celebrated as a National Startup Day. So, so this is once again uh, focusing on innovation and entrepreneurship. So here the AICT is conducting so many programs to promote the innovation and entrepreneurship in the institute. As a part of that, we are having IIC, Institute Innovation Council in our institute, and as a part of that, also we have implemented the National Innovation and Startup Policy in our institute. As a part of that, also we have signed a MOU with the Deshpande Foundation in order to carry out the skill training program, as well as, if possible, we will also carry out this incubation activities in the Deshpande Foundations. And we also have a MOU with the CELCO, and in which you can carry out the innovation activities in the solar sector. And we also have the MOU with the BEC Bagalkot, so you can carry out the innovation activities in the textile as well as food processing activities. So, with this brief information, I would like to express my wholehearted gratitude, my wholehearted thanks to our beloved principal for delivering such an informative and exhaustive the session on the National Innovation, the NEP 2020, mainly focusing on the innovation and entrepreneurship. So, once again, thank our beloved principal, Sri G. Bidan Sethi, on behalf of IIC, and on behalf of all the staff members, and on behalf of all the participants of this program. Thank you very much, sir. I also would like to extend my vote of thanks to the President of IIC, Sri Matur sir, for arranging such an informative session for our students. And at last, I would like to express my wholehearted thanks to the students who have participated in this program and made it successful. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to thank all who have directly or indirectly mm, help in conducting this program. Thank you very much.
Excellent session. Very best answer. Very best answer.
ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಮಗೂರಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಐರಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂತು ಸರ್.
ಗೂಗಲ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ನಡನೂ ಬೇಕಾದ ಸರ್. ಇದು ನಾವು
ಗೂಗಲ್ ಭಾಳ ಬಿಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್. ಇದು ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಇವ್ರ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ನಾಗ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ,
ಸರ್.
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ
ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಅದರ
ಫುಲ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಟಿವ್ ಸರ್. ಫುಲ್
ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲಿಬಾಬಾ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ
ರೈಟ್ ಸರ್. ಹೌದು. ಏನೋ ಸರ್ ಅಲಿಬಾಬಾ
ಚಕ್ಮಾ.
ಚೈನೀಸ್
10 ಸಲ ಬಿಡಾಗ
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಹೌದು. But he is a great innovator. Inventor ಅಲ್ಲ.
Innovator.
So invention authored by scientists.
Innovation
So,
is
ಮಾಡಿದ ಅವ ಒಂದೇ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ, ಅವ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೋಲ್ಲ, SSLC ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅನ್ಕೂಲೆ